Africans used to trade with one another before. Freely, I might add. But right now in 2025, there's more restrictions stopping.
Travel, trade, freedom. Across Africa, the dream of moving and doing business seamlessly should be a reality. But for many, it's a maze of money exchanges, high fees, and foreign control. Welcome to the African travel struggle and the fight for financial independence.
So in today's video, I want to ask you, did you know that during the trans-Sahara trade, mass migration across West, North, and East Africa happened? And this was also the way Africans traded as a continent with the rest of the world through the Mediterranean Sea. Africans used to trade with one another before. Freely, I might add. But right now in 2025, there's more restrictions stopping us from traveling within the continent of Africa for tourism, for educational purpose, for work. It's very hard. It's unfortunate to see us ourselves pulling each other backwards. Making it easier for Africans to travel within Africa has more benefit than downsides, but that's not really the case and that's not the reality. But it's important to remember what worked before and what didn't so we can make a better decision for our future.
Meet 2AO, a young traveler from Lagos headed to Nairobi. Simple trip? Not quite. First, they convert Naira to US dollars. Then those dollars to Kenyan shillings upon arrival. And on the way back, the same exhausting loop.
33 currencies in Africa. 33 currencies. None of which is used to conclude transactions anywhere. I come to Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and I show my shilling. They say, what is this? But let me show the dollar. Oh, this is it. Let me show the euro. This is it. 80% of transactions in Africa are concluded outside of the continent in dollars. Intra-African trade, almost 80% is terminated in the dollar. The credit cards that we carry, whether you are from Nigeria or Kenya or Zambia, when you transact and as much as buy an item in a shop in Johannesburg, New York knows about it. London knows about it. That is the Africa that I'm talking about. It is an Africa that has continued to be manipulated from outside. That Africa has tried many times to disentangle herself from the chains and manacles of external control. But every time she tries, she fails. She is dictated to by IMF.
Beyond being a headache, this multi-layered currency dance props up foreign economies, while weakening our own. Every time we rely on the dollar or the euro, we give power away. Africa's economic arteries are clogged with foreign control. Imagine an Africa where one currency fuels movement, trade, and connection. No conversions, no dependency, just pure Pan-African power. For African entrepreneurs, the struggle is even worse. Nigerian traders doing business in Ghana or Rwanda face high fees, slow international transactions, and shifting exchange rates, all managed by foreign banks. Small and medium businesses, Africa's economic heartbeat, are being squeezed by a system that benefits outsiders. Nigeria's Minister of Trade, Jumoke Oduwole, isn't staying silent. Along with fellow African trade leaders, she's advocating for a unified financial system under the African Continental Free Trade Area.
Yes, I think it's great to start as we've officially gazetted this transmitted the AfCFTA Secretariat as the ECOWAS schedule on tariff orders and all of this. Please, can you make us understand the implications of this development clearly so that we take it up from there?
Thank you very much. I'd like to just demystify what it is to submit and transmit the country's tariff schedules. So what it is that it enables businesses, MSMEs, traders in goods, traders in services, to be able to access other markets. It also enables other countries to access Nigerian markets. So it means that Nigeria is open for business in the truest sense of the word. So we're the 23rd country to submit our gazetted tariff schedules to the AfCFTA Secretariat. We did that on Monday ahead of the ministers responsible for trade meeting, which held yesterday in Kinshasa. Mr. President signed the approval a few weeks ago, and then we went through the gazetting process. And so this opens up Nigerian businesses to be able to move around the continent. It really unleashes and unlocks our export agenda under the 8-point agenda of Mr. President. Number 7 is accelerating diversification. The Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment is particularly prioritizing our non-oil exports at this time, supporting our businesses, both large and small, to trade across the continent. You will have noted the statistics that last year, Nigeria's exports to Africa was indeed really a significant jump, and in non-oil exports in general went up 24% year on year, as released by the Central Bank of Nigeria last week. So what this does, let me just press ahead, is that it ensures that businesses can scale. It means more productive jobs. It means businesses are earning export income, diversified export portfolio coming into the country, by balance of trade, balance of payments also. And so it's a very, very good thing for Nigeria and for Africa, I would say.
What is the new system that you would want to create, both for trade and aid, assuming that the US is doing what it's doing? What is everyone else going to need to do now?
Well, self-reliance is not only at the national level, but on the continental level. And there's good news coming out of Africa, like she said. Most countries have ratified the protocol on continental free trade in Africa. And that trade is beginning to grow steadily. We're able to export tariff-free into our countries. Of course, there are obstacles because our trade channels have been the colonial trade channels between us and Europe and not amongst ourselves. So one of the things we need to deal with first is how we develop the infrastructure to be able to exchange goods amongst ourselves. Already, most countries are allowing free movement of people. And so if we have free movement of goods and services across the continent, I think that it will fill a huge gap in South-South trade, and that will benefit all our countries.
And do you think that the actions of the Trump administration will accelerate Africans' determination to do this? Will it finally actually happen, the African Free Trade Area?
Definitely it will. Definitely we will learn to be more self-reliant as a continent and to trade more amongst ourselves, because there's a lot of room there for expanding trade.
But without a single African currency, the dream of seamless trade is just that, a dream. Businesses are drowning in currency chaos and transaction costs. Why is Africa still divided financially? The answer lies in a strategy older than our independence: divide and conquer. From colonial agreements to modern institutions, Africa is encouraged to stay divided, because unity threatens the profit pipelines of foreign powers. But change is coming. The Africa Woke Citizens platform is taking this fight to the African Union. Citizens are demanding financial sovereignty, and the movement is growing. This is not just about money. It's about power, freedom, and Africa's place in the world. Africa's largest economies, Nigeria, South Africa, Egypt, must lead the charge. Financial unity isn't optional. It's survival. Through decisive action, these giants can break the chains, build strong institutions, and open doors for trade and investment on African terms. A single African currency won't solve every problem, but it will tear down one of the biggest barriers we face. It's more than economics. It's about self-respect. It's about ending a financial system that was never built for us. Speak up. Share this story. Demand progress. The future of African travel, trade, and freedom depends on us. One people, one currency, one future. This is See Africa TV, telling the stories that shape our freedom, one voice at a time.